I had this script ready 2 days ago. However, stuff happened here at home that made me put off creating this video for a while. It's time to focus on something else than energy for a moment. In this video, I'm going to talk about the roles of governments that I think are essential to maintain a healthy and thriving civilization. September 17th, 1787, 230 years ago, was the day when the Constitution of the United States was enacted. It is an amazing living document. Many of you know that I love the US. I've been there twice and I have many friends there. And practically everything of meaning in the pop culture that I'm immersed in, whether it is comics, films, or technology, has some sturdy bases across the Atlantic. Today I want to highlight a couple of parts of the Constitution of the United States and place it in a contemporary context. The good starts in the preamble. We, the people of the United States, in order to form a more perfect union, establish justice, ensure domestic tranquility, provide for the common defense, promote the general welfare, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our prosperity, to ordain and establish this Constitution of the United States. So what makes this preamble so precious to a foreigner like me? Well, it begins with "we the people," which gives you a sense of unity. And the preamble shows us that the founding fathers had a common vision for this fledgling country of theirs and the people that lived therein. What is more, to promote the general welfare, I interpret this as to organize government to facilitate a general sense of well-being and wellness for the people of the land. To me, this would be one of the founding principles for a country that I would found. Why would you organize a government? To help the people by offering education and to stimulate them to seek meaning and to help people be well both mentally as well as physically, which in my eyes means providing health care, not sick care. I always think that it is a sign of failure when people can go bankrupt over medical bills, and thus people stay away from hospitals and doctors until it's too late. Welfare is intrinsically linked to well-being, and some people want to attribute a minimum level to this well-being. However, speaking from long experience, the question is, what is a minimum level of well-being? I've been depressed for so long, I can't really remember the last time I was genuinely happy and at ease. Am I well? I can imagine that there are people out there who have far worse conditions than I have. I wonder, are they being looked after? Are they well? But I digress. And finally, there's this piece of the preamble, and secure the blessings of liberty to ourselves and our posterity. This is very important. For instance, Our Children's Trust is an organization which has predicated its founding principles and actions on this piece of the preamble. It tells us that it was the intention of the founding fathers to create a country and a government that would ensure that the future of the citizens of the country would be safeguarded. Currently, we are faced with the possible hazards associated with climate change, and it seems relevant to remind government officials of this essential fragment of the preamble of the Constitution. Now, I'm not going to do the whole thing. I want to zoom in on a couple of amendments, also known as the Bill of Rights, which is basically an invaluable addition to the original text of the Constitution. The Bill of Rights is designed to limit government from overreaching and impede on individual liberties. To me, the First Amendment is the most important one. This doesn't mean the others don't count, obviously they do. The First Amendment reads, "Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion or prohibiting the free exercise thereof, or abridging the freedom of speech, or of the press, or the right of the people to peaceably assemble and to petition the government for a redress of grievances. Now, the First Amendment is basically 6 basic rules against government overreach. Let's dissect them. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion. This is also known as the Establishment Clause and prohibits the government, which also means the police, the army, and everything else run by the government, from determining which religion has their favor. What is more, the Founding Fathers probably knew that establishing a formal religion would undermine the purpose of the Constitution and the Bill of Rights and all subsequent amendments and laws. We can see a regressive movement happening in Turkey, for instance, a country which has been secular for decades, but now is turning back to Islam and is removing stuff like evolution from its textbooks. In fact, it should be frowned upon whenever someone would make decisions impacting the people while in office based on any scripture.
Because the old theory of evolution, taught for 77 years in the classrooms of America as fact, is suddenly replaced by a new theory, or I hasten to add, I'm sure we'll be told, a new fact. Well, the truth is, it always was a theory, Mr. Speaker. And now that we've recognized evolution as a theory, I would simply and humbly ask, can we teach it as such? And can we also consider teaching other theories of the origin of species, like the theory that was believed in by every signer of the Declaration of Independence? Every signer of the Declaration of Independence believed that men and women were created and were endowed by that same Creator with certain unalienable rights. The Bible tells us that God created man in His own image, male and female, He created them. And I believe that, Mr. Speaker. I believe that God created the known universe, the earth, and everything in it, including man. And I also believe that someday scientists will come to see that only the theory of intelligent design provides even a remotely rational explanation for the known universe.
Also, it should be frowned upon whether law enforcement officers embellish their cars with "In God We Trust" stickers. Next, we have this clause: Congress shall make no law prohibiting the free exercise of religion. Now, as an anti-theist, this might seem strange coming from me, but you may believe whatever you want. If anyone says you can't believe in fairy tales, the slippery slope is there. One can say you shouldn't believe that, but that doesn't mean that you prohibit people from believing something. So far, so good. I wholeheartedly agree with both clauses. You can be as crazy as you want, as long as nobody else has to witness any of it or readjust their way of living to accommodate yours, and that's the key. You can't have your religion impose its tenets, skewed morals, and rules on others. The Establishment Clause ensures that the U.S. is by law a secular country, and this is one of the most beautiful aspects, if you ask me. The next clause is this: Congress shall make no law abridging the freedom of speech. If it was up to me, I would add freedom of thought as well, but this is close enough. No one in the government can tell you what you may and may not think or speak, period. Congress shall make no law abridging the freedom of the press. This one has become more relevant than ever. The question is, whose press? We are no longer living in an age of news media. It's more like opinion media. Punditry is everywhere. Granted, there are still some good newspapers and news channels, but trust in them is decreasing steadily. This does not mean that this clause is bad, far from it. The dissemination of facts and actuality remains vital. However, it is now more than ever incumbent on the people to consider critically what is being said and written. We need to bring accountability back to the table. If you write junk, someone should tell you you are selling junk. Perhaps that might spawn a new age of dispassionate, facts-only press. And that's why critical thinking skills should be valued above all else. Remaining eager to spot errors and provide and improve arguments. In that way, you cannot get caught in ideological quagmires, the likes of which we see today.
Since you're attacking us, can you give us a question? No, Mr. President-elect.
Go ahead.
Mr. President-elect, since you are attacking our news organization, can you give us a chance?
Your organization
You are attacking our news organization. Can you give us a chance to ask a question, sir?
Go ahead.
Sir, can you state,
Quiet.
Mr. President-elect,
Go ahead.
can you state
She's asking a
categorically,
question.
Mr.
Don't be rude.
President-elect, can you give us a question?
Don't be
You're
rude.
attacking us. Can you give us a question?
Don't be rude.
Can you
No, I'm
give
not
us a
going to give you a
question?
question. I'm not going to give you a
Can
question.
you state categorically?
You are fake news.
Sir,
go ahead.
Can you state categorically that nobody... No, Mr. President-elect, that's not
Go ahead.
appropriate.
Congress shall make no law abridging the right of the people to peaceably assemble. Very important in this day and age. Something quite extraordinary happened this week at a gathering called the Mother of All Rallies. Now, it is disputable whether it was really a big rally, because that's what the addition Mother of All implies. However, it was a pro-Trump rally with lots of people from different groups. Black Lives Matter showed up. Instead of bashing each other's skulls in, the organizers invited the group on stage to address the crowd in a peaceful manner. I'm impressed that this happened. And I hope that in the future more of these things will happen more often, where people actually talk with each other. Who knows what will happen next? Humans gather, and what do you know? The world hasn't come to an end. Talk with each other. It makes me optimistic that in the future certain relationships can be normalized once more. And then there's the final clause. Congress shall make no law abridging the right of people to petition the government for a redress of grievances. The ability to ask the government for help when you are trapped in an undesirable situation shall not be prohibited by law. Incredibly important. This is one of the key features of a government by and for the people. Finally, I would say that Congress and the government operates at the leisure and goodwill of the people. How different is it today, where the opposite seems to be true? Congress is mainly a tool for the enrichment of the already rich. I think that the Constitution of the United States and the amendments are a thing of pure beauty. I may not agree with everything that is in there, but it's the best document so far upon which a powerful and prosperous nation has been built. There's still a lot that needs to be done in order to restore a sense of equality and a universal sense of well-being in the United States, but it's up to the Americans to keep working on that. Even though I'm 2 days late, I want to congratulate the American nation with the 230th birthday of their Constitution, a truly wondrous and above all secular and thus all-inclusive document. Before we end this video, please take a moment to support Robbie Kyle's proposal to MIT's Climate Collab competition. I'll read the text from Generation Atomic and hope that you will help them get this proposal selected. Our fellow Robbie Kyle submitted a Generation Atomic proposal for MIT's Climate Collab competition a few days ago. The idea? Use molten salt reactors not just for electricity, but to decarbonize other forms of energy consumption like heating and transportation fuels. Vote here to help us spread the message of advanced nuclear. Thanks to Rolly Partanen and Canon Bryan for help with the background research. You will find the link in the description below. Thank you for watching.